Okay, this one is for you, Libra. That's you over here. This is from Tarot Illumination, and it is your singles mini love and relationship report for singles. Okay, and it's for that season, late October into early November. Okay, it's kind of this new thing we're doing. Hopefully, it keeps going with the mid-month singles mini playlist. Okay, so it's we're crossing over the from one month to another. Cards were already pre-shuffled, well shuffled, well in advance, and we're just doing more for you to be live and a witness, okay? No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles. I would invite you to do the routine. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Squish it all together. Also, with this layout, please, I invite you to stop, start, pause, rewind as you need in order to integrate all the questions into the reading itself, okay? So we're going to keep it very simple, hopefully short and sweet and simple for you guys. And then you can reinterpret however you want to suit you, okay? It's your reading for you. All right, let's see. We are done with shuffle. Okay. And we're going to cut here. We're going to cut here and here. All right, like this. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, this would be, the energy that you're radiating. This is the potential energy that someone that you might be attracting. This would be the energy of the relationship itself, okay? What if? What if? What if? And these are like the prospects of what would happen if something like this could happen for you, Libra. So remember, this is all potential. Tarot Illumination is not a fortune teller. All we're doing is reading energy. And we're hoping to get you on the understanding with the laws of attraction that you kind of attract things to you, okay, including relationships. And you're always radiating the energy of relationship anyway. So underneath, we're going to look at this in a second. It's the energy of the circumstances around you that are prevailing. And like the weather, you're going to make the best of it. So you have the Ace of Swords. So it might be, dear Libra, that you're in a situation where there's a great opportunity here to really find out the truth of what the heck is going on in your world, your life, love life in terms of relationships. And perhaps have a whole new start, a whole new awareness of what a loving relationship might be. We don't know. It's just, this is sacred opportunity. It's happening. It's here. It's right now. It's out there. The idea with sacred opportunity is to grab it. Otherwise, it's like you're just wasting energy, wasting the energy of heaven. It's, who in their right mind would do that? So let's just say you understand what we're talking about here. And maybe this is a really good opportunity for like saying, I want to know exactly what's going on here. I want to start from scratch, the way it should be, the way it's supposed to be. Okay? According to, we're talking about absolute truth here. Divine truth, irrefutable truth, like the sun comes up, sun goes down. We're not talking about subjective truth, personal truth. We're talking about absolute truth here. What is the absolute truth of what's going on in your world, especially with love and relationship? So what are you radiating right now? Okay, hope, inspiration, and potentially something very, very beautiful that could be coming about or could be happening in a way that might be unexpected, that you don't understand, but it's almost like you don't have to know. The only thing you have to know is that everything is exactly as it should be, and it's like, this is a card of like divine guidance, where it's like, there's what do they call it? There's wishing, hoping, praying, believing, and knowing. Okay, knowing. Okay, so this card is like a knowing, and that in some bizarre, strange way that may not be understood right now, everything is exactly as it should be. You might not know how or why or when in terms of like, our regular understanding of lives, but somehow or other, that there is a reckoning here, but we're coming to it, and that this is going to be a good thing for you, Libra. It's going to be very, very liberating for you in some way or another. like opening up your mind, opening up your soul, opening up your conscious awareness and your deep soul awareness of what can happen in a love relationship here. So what would that attract from another, a potential other? Let's have a look. Well, someone who is, looks like making a deliberate decision to take mastery and ownership of like the love energy that's happening in their life, and to own it and to, let's say, live it, living by example, living like someone, in other words, you could possibly attract someone who is rising into maturity or starting to display or radiate real significant emotional maturity in ways that you might have never witnessed before. But maybe it's time that's what you deserve. Maybe you deserve now, Libra, to attract someone who has this level of, let's say, integrity when it comes to the heart. Now, we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for you, because we're talking about significant truth issues, the issues of truth here. So in other words, what is going to be exposed here in your love life if such and such a person might show up in your world? What would be the absolute truth of this situation? In other words, maybe not necessarily what you wanted or what you believe could be or what is or what might have been, but what is absolutely happening right now. And that would be, let's say, their integrity when it comes to matters of the heart. So that's potentially really good for you, Libra. It's like someone that you could, let's just say, trust in matters there. You might be attracting someone who's actually handling a tremendous amount of turbulence right now, and they're doing everything they can to own it and not let it own them, to the point where they're actually like, it's almost like showing themselves in terms of like, wow, you might not be used to relating to someone like this, Libra, and you don't understand what's going on or how or why it's happening, but you might be attracting someone who is, let's just say, operating with the highest levels of integrity when it comes to matters of the heart, even though there might be a tremendous amount of turbulence in the situation here that may be subject to a truth and honesty hearing. Let's put it that way. We don't know, because this is just potential. Well, let's have a look at the relationship itself. Let's say if something like this did manifest or show up in your life, okay, Libra, what would that look like as a relationship? Well, it could be like a harmonizing of things. It could be a balancing of things to get things back in touch, back into reality, like a really good solid reality check, a balancing out between yourself and how you relate to the world and how other people relate to you in the world, where it's something that you really need to know. And this is like very important stuff that you would need to know, Libra. It's very important to know what you need to know, so that you're not living in a relationship dynamic where you're kind of in the dark. So instead, you might be radiating this kind of energy of sheer knowing and the desire to know what needs to be known, even if it doesn't make any sense, just so that you can retain and come back to equilibrium and balance in your life, in your world of relationships, by, let's say, demanding truth, expecting truth, and witnessing truth and receiving truth from someone who is doing everything they can, the best that they can, to be that way from the heart, so to speak. So it could be a very interesting time period for you, Libra, where you could be witnessing things that you've never witnessed before in a potential relationship. But it could be very, let's say, like a good reckoning thing, where things are stabilized, where finally, you, Libra, you might be coming into a sense of equilibrium and balance, which is what you like, Libra, so much. You like things to be very harmonized and balanced, which is what which is like what the potential of this relationship could be, where it could be a balancing thing for that potential other, and a very balancing thing for you in a way that it's tangible and it kind of makes sense to all parties, all sides, where we understand, like with the laws of attraction, as you sow, so shall you reap. So there's kind of a big chunk of karma here. In other words, you might get exactly what you knew or were expecting or suspected, but you never had any language or terminology for it. But it feels very, very harmonizing and balancing. It doesn't even matter whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. The whole idea is that it's very harmonizing and balancing for you. And you might learn that through this potential other person who could show up, where the whole environment is all about starting from scratch with the truth as opposed to whatever existed before. So that could be very interesting for you, Libra, stabilizing, grounding, like, at last, I'm a Libra and I know where I stand now. Thank you very, very much. I'm glad you showed up. I needed to understand that. I needed to know that. So now we can balance things out. Well, you, Libra, can balance things out in yourself by having attracted this potential kind of mate to you who is relating to you under these circumstances and conditions of divine opportunity, sacred opportunity right now, where it's like literally like a total busting open of the truth. Like the doors are busting open on the truth here for you, Libra, because it's something that you deserve, that you need to know. So where does that lead? What are the prospects here? The prospects, okay, well, let's just say, well, we all know what this card is. This is a card of grief and sorrow. And maybe this needs to be expressed. Maybe this needs to be understood. Because Libra, this is a card of great liberation here. The Star card is all about liberation and freedom and inspiration and like getting in touch with like the spiritual truth of the situation, especially with this card in the background and the opportunity here. It's like maybe you really need to know what's going on in yourself, Libra, right now. Like, what are you radiating? The hope and the desire for real truth. And even if it ends up in a situation where there is grief and sorrow at the end of it, because it looks like if you did attract someone while you're in this vibe, it would be someone who's basically doing everything they can to maintain their integrity in terms of matters of the heart, even though it could be a very, very turbulent type of situation for you. But it's good, solid, stabilizing, and it's in some ways, I don't want to like be too harsh or judge or anything, but if this is an energy of grief where the prospects and the momentum of this potential relationship could lead, this could be very liberating for you, no matter how painful this grief or sorrow might be, because it's like, who wants to live in something that's not true? Who wants to live in something that's totally fake when something like this is actually what lies underneath and needs to be exposed? Because it might be, Libra, in your own sweetness and your own desire to have harmony and balance in relationships, at the core of relationship, you might have been living under a situation where this energy was lacking. The Ace of Swords was not there, but now you have that. So it could be a really stark moment of like soul awakening for you, which might not be pretty. Maybe you needed to know this about yourself. Maybe it's time to understand that, wow, maybe I brought this upon myself, because you might not have been aware. You might not have been aware of any of this emotional turbulence that was existing in another person, which actually represents the emotional turbulence that you carry in yourself. And relationships, as you know, are very, very much about the mirror effect, the reflection effect. So you might have attracted someone who has endured tremendous emotional turbulence and is still doing it, but they're owning it and they have mastery. But the truth is coming out in such a way, it's exposed in the context of a potential relationship here, where it exposes the truth. And the truth might be that there's something very tragic and sad about what's going on. Let's just say, I don't want to say in the relationship itself, but in the context of relationship where this was inevitable, because it might have been for a long time that there was that this energy was absent and allowed you, Libra, to carry on as if everything was true. But now we are discovering the truth, and we have the chance and this tremendous opportunity to discover and learn the truth and live by the truth. So this is potentially very, very good news for you, Libra. It could be very, very liberating, even though it might have the potential to be very sorrowful and painful. It might just be one of those learning type relationships where it happens for a while and then it goes away for a while. But you needed to know this because you might have been living under a veil for a long time, and now it's a good time to like become awake, become fully awake, because it's very, very liberating. The truth will set you free. Okay, Libra? Thank you very much. I'm going to stop talking now so I won't spoil it. Remember to watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Stop, start, pause the tape video as you need, and reinterpret to suit yourself. Thank you, Libra. Thank you for coming to Tarot Illumination. Bye-bye. Make the best of this reading and this season.